Let's see here. It looks like I am live. All right. Give me a quick second, you guys, to get all of my faculties in order here, and then we're going to get started. I just got to move this over here, and we're good to go. So good morning, everyone. If you're watching this live or watching this on the live playback, today is January 19th, and it's been kind of a wild weekend. So good morning, Baller. There is some conflict going on over there in Greenland. I think has a lot to do with the Sunday night kind of market slaughter that we saw. Pretty alarming stuff. We're gonna dive into that today and talk about it. The weekend started out good. Saturday was a great day, especially for quant. I want to jump into that a little bit, but everything seemed to come to a screeching halt late last night around maybe, I want to say 6 or 7 o'clock at night. The market just absolutely tanked. And I'm wondering if that is because the markets opened Monday morning in the Asian side of the world. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe the Greenland conflict has something to do with that. We're going to be jumping in and taking a look today. So good morning, Say. Good morning, Gary. If you're jumping in for the first time, how this stream works is we do an overall wellness check of the market that includes looking at our favorite cryptocurrency tokens. We're looking at the gold and silver market, and we're especially looking at the Japanese bond market. I can break that down in a little bit. Today is a national holiday here in North America, United States, so the U.S. markets are not open. The stock market is closed for today. So we're not going to be able to necessarily look at the stock market. I am curious to see tomorrow when the stock market opens, do we see a very large slide? Because if we do, that means that the crypto slide we saw last night maybe isn't such a big deal. You know, when every single market globally tanks, then it's not so personal, right? I know a lot of people right now are looking at XRP, they're looking at HBAR, looking at Flare, looking at Quant, saying all the progress we made over the past few weeks completely wiped out. We're back to December levels. It's disheartening, but, you know, I have not lost the hope. The Japanese bonds are spiraling out of control. I actually think the reverse carry trade is closer to being in play than we previously thought. And we'll jump right into that and cover all this. I'm going to catch up on the chat, say hi to everybody, and then we're going to be jumping in. So we got Steph. Hey, hope you're having a good weekend. I did. Big football fan, American football, for those of you international. As a Lions fan, this is maybe a side of pettiness on my part, but to see the Chicago Bears lose was a good way for me to end the weekend. If you don't know, the Detroit Lions last year were very good. In the middle of the playoffs, our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators were taking interviews for other teams, like head coaching positions. Well, they went into one of their playoff games against Washington, and you could just tell the team wasn't in sync. They weren't focused. They weren't their normal selves, and so I blame the coaching on that one. Of course, both of our coordinators left for head coaching positions. Aaron Glenn went to the Jets. They had a bad season, so that's all good on that front. The Bears, on the other hand, got Ben Johnson, and they made a playoff run. So I was biting my nails hoping to see that the Bears would get their comeuppance, and they did. So ended that weekend on a high note. Good morning, Wine. It's evening cold in Norway. Trump is a special man. Now, I know that you guys over there, you've probably got a different perspective on what's all going on. It seems like this Greenland thing is really heating up. You know, it makes you wonder what's the real end goal with this. Obviously, the surface level no-brainer is to say that we want Greenland's resources, or I guess when I say we, you might say Trump wants Greenland's resources. Does it go deeper than that? You know, nothing happens in a vacuum, and I've been looking at this. You know, Russia moving on Ukraine, China wants to move on Taiwan. Is the United States right now saying basically to these other countries, If you're going to make moves, we're going to make moves. I wonder if some of that's happening right now. I don't necessarily want us to have, bad relationships with our friends over there in Europe. I'm just watching how things unfold, and, for better or worse, all you can do is just analyze what's going on and keep an eye on the markets. So we'll have to watch and see how that unfolds. I think it's a little shaky. I don't fully understand why we've got to be in Greenland. Maybe there's a reason that I just don't know about, so I'm kind of keeping an open mind to it. But I do think that it can be kind of a problem. Over here to CoinMarketCap, and we'll just do a quick recap of the weekend. In general, it's not good. So, XRP late last night, it went off a cliff. And it recovered a little bit, right? So it fell down to 192 at the lowest. And this all happened so quickly, you guys. I'm looking at this chart. 550, things were stable. By 7 o'clock, so this is just barely over an hour. In 1 hour, XRP goes from 206 down to 192. Now overnight it did recover a bit, back up to $1.98. It's still this is the kind of stuff it's hard to look at. Back when we were in December, we were in that 180 range for basically the whole month. We got out of it. Then we were in the $2 range for basically all of January until last night. Now we're back in the dollars. This is hard to look at, but I'm still not worried long term. I think that, maybe we all got a little bit of ahead of ourselves last year, thinking that, 2025 was going to be the year that it moons. I still think that there's a window of opportunity here for the market to have a very good rally in February leading up to April in this kind of late Q1, early Q2 range. But it does look like with the Clarity Act being delayed at least until April, that was kind of part of my overall market prediction, was that the Clarity Act was going to be a very large driver for us having increased price appreciation market-wide, not just in XRP, but in a lot of our other favorite tokens as well. I think there's still runway, and a very good example of this is going to be Quant. Quant is moving kind of at the beat of its own drum right now. Moved up quite a few points over the weekend. On Friday, when we looked at Quant, they were around 73, 74 on market cap rankings. Moved up to 68. I think they've added close to, at least $50 million over the weekend. And this, mind you, is factoring in that Sunday night slaughter that we saw. Look at how great this was. This was, I believe, the 16th would have been a Friday. So I think this would have been after my stream was already over. But it went from basically in the morning, it was at $72. It shot all the way up to 85. So for those of you that put me on Quant, I am very appreciative of that. I think I'm going to start buying more Quant, as I have a feeling that with the Clarity Act at least being delayed, it looks like it's being deliberated until April. We don't have a specific date yet, but April seems to be the month a lot of people are throwing around. That's going to leave about 3 months worth of wiggle room to really kind of capture some Quant, maybe kind of think about consolidating into some of these minor tokens that might perform well regardless of the Clarity Act. Sorry if I'm sipping my coffee. I was moving a little bit slow today. Don't normally do much on Sunday nights, but with the NFL playoffs being in play, it was kind of like a second Saturday for me. So I might be drinking a little extra coffee this morning. So I'm going to catch up on the chat because I see some movement. So Clutch says the Packer fan, the Bear loss is even sweeter. I agree. I don't necessarily hate the Bears, but I really don't like Ben Johnson. So that was fun. Wine says, not looking good from our perspective. When he crashes the market too, do you think it will recover over the week? I think we'll probably see some market recovery this week. I did see some headlines saying that this Greenland kerfuffle is causing some tariff issues, and I think if we could just do a quick Google search, we might see that. It was Europe tariffs. Let's just see how that goes. So yeah, we got some headlines here. After Trump reignites a trade war over Greenland, Europe weighs hitting back. I think these tariffs probably have a lot to do with why the market tanked last night. I have a feeling the U.S. stock market tomorrow is going to open red, and we'll see if that ends up being true. Some of these headlines: Europe industry hits out at Trump's ludicrous demands over Greenland. It seems like that's kind of the move and play right here. Yeah, 100 billion in retaliatory tariffs, especially coming from the Danish. So, as I understand it, Greenland is currently a Danish territory. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know why we would be seizing land from countries we're allied with, but that's not my decision to make, and I'm kind of trying to stay as neutral as I can and just analyze how this affects the market rather than giving out my own opinions. But I don't know that this is a move that helps build a friendship between Europe and the United States. I think this is even if this works out in Trump's favor. As a U.S. citizen, I know that if you travel abroad, sometimes people take out the political stuff on you. I think as a U.S. citizen, this could cause some rife, but like as an individual traveling abroad. So I think about these things. I don't know if I'm exactly in favor of what's going on here, but I do recognize that there's nothing I can do about it. So just kind of watching how it plays out, and hopefully there's some good resolution to all of this. Josh says, do you think XRP will drop one more time to buy in at $1.60 or $1.70? I still don't think so. I don't think it's going to get down that low. This move over the weekend kind of hit me by surprise. I definitely wasn't expecting this. But it's even still, despite what's been going on, it's kind of recovered. I'm not like fully, but it's moving back up to the upside. There's some people that have speculated this might have even been a leverage wipeout, which we tend to see. The really bad one was October 10th, but it's nothing new, right? To see the leverage traders get wiped out. That could be what this is. I think it's probably more related to the tariffs, but we'll just keep an eye on it. I don't think it's going to go below 170. I think it's going to stay where it is. I want to say this is the worst that it's going to be and that we're going to start recovering. The Japanese bond yields are going out of control, by the way. I want to keep talking about the coins for now, but we'll definitely jump into this. If you've been paying attention, a 227 Japanese government bond, that's moving even faster than I predicted. This moved almost 10 bips over the weekend, which, for those that don't know, a bip is kind of like finance slang for a basis point. And a basis point is 1/100th of a percent. So 100 bips would be 1%. Just for those of you out there that maybe aren't so familiar with the finance terminology. Looking at this chart, very scary stuff. I want to jump back to the coins before we dig through it, because I have a lot that I want to say about this. So XRP kind of took some nasty hits. Interestingly enough, Flare had a very interesting weekend. This thing was a real roller coaster. So, early in the morning, as I was waking up, I'm looking at flare like, oh my gosh, it's going on a rip right now. Well, it fell back down. That welcome to crypto, you guys. If things go up, they go down, and sometimes it happens in a flash of an eye. If flare's coming back down to that penny range, I think that if it goes below a penny, that I might personally make a lump sum purchase of it. I know people are really demoralized right now. If you go to any of the social media spaces, people on Reddit, Instagram, X, Facebook. I don't know. I'm not really on Facebook, but I know some people are. Everybody, the general sentiment across the board is crypto's dead. Crypto's going into a bear market, winter. Get out while you can. I'm actually doubling down, you guys. I'm not worried at all. I know that this doesn't look great, and a lot of us were expecting 2026 to start off very well, and we'd start seeing some green here. But, you just look at Flare's overall chart history, knowing what we do about the technology, it's never been cheaper. The final Flare drop goes out on the 30th. I think we'll start seeing price appreciation after that. And even if we don't see immediate price appreciation, what Flare's doing in the DeFi space, they're essentially number one right now. So once clarity goes through, I know this is kind of a pain that we're playing this waiting game, but it is eventually going to happen. And when it does, I expect Flare to really shoot upward in value, specifically because they've already got the framework for solid DeFi platforms. Unfortunately, with the way it is right now, there's all these institutions, and when we say institutions, we mean banks or very large corporate companies, shareholders, things like that, government banks, all these different very large entities that use capital. They're ready to use this stuff. It's just that from a company perspective, they can't deploy something that might not pass. And even if we all think the Clarity Act is going to pass, at a corporate level, they are not going to move until it does, even if we're all 99% certain. So all these companies are ready for this to happen. It just hasn't happened yet. I know it's super frustrating, but when it does happen, I think we're going to see inflows into the crypto market like we've never seen probably since 2021. And honestly, I don't like being a hype seller, but if you look at how 2021 was for some of these tokens, just like a vertical straight line, I think that we might be I think this is on the horizon. I just don't know when. I don't think it's before the Clarity Act. So I don't think we're getting our vertical chart before April. I think XRP might have some major moves as an individual token before then. I don't think the rest of the market does. And that's actually why I'm recommending to people right now. Not financial advice. This is all just my opinion. If you're going to be buying anything over the next month or two, I'd say XRP or Quant would probably be your number one and number two picks. I love HBAR and I love Flare. There's going to be time to buy those. I have a feeling that XRP and Quant are just going to move sooner than all of the other coins. And then I'm going to catch up on the chat. Before I do that, as some of you guys know, I've been having weird problems with my Google Nest, and the heat in this house just runs uncontrollably, even though I have it set to 68. So I'm going to go turn off my heater, and I'll be back in like 20 seconds. Hopefully this problem goes away entirely when spring hits. Here we go. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Google Nest, if you use it or anything like that, but it's almost like it wants to be like a smart thermostat and decide for you what's best for your house. It's like, I set you to 68. Why can't you just keep my house at 68? I don't necessarily care about like the ideal energy, whatever. Just keep the house at 68. I don't know why it's so difficult, but that's what I'm dealing with. In fact, I'm gonna crack the window. It's like, honestly, it could be a sauna in this room right now. Anyways, let me catch up on the chat, and then we'll keep moving. So I think I gotta scroll up here a little bit. Gary says, I definitely believe we're all gonna have a big buying opportunity on Tuesday for XRP. I'm curious, do you have a specific reason for Tuesday? Because I've been seeing some stuff on Twitter over the weekend. The world's smartest guy, the big IQ, big brain dude, says that Monday is going to be the day. I kind of have a bone to pick with all these influencers that are posting specific dates that never play out. It's like, what's their angle? What do they have to gain from that? But if there is a reason for Tuesday, I'd love to hear it, because then we could talk about that and break it down. Catching up with Steph, I thought having Greenland was partly for strategic, safer journey route for shipping rather than the current routes, plus the rare earth metals. I have a feeling it's rare earth. I mean, a lot of these Arctic regions, because they're so uninhabited, they basically are just untouched, right? So all those earth metals are kind of just waiting for someone to come in there and mine them. Of course, the conditions there are inhospitable, so it's really only modern technology that we can even get to those places in the first place. But the pessimist in me thinks that could be a lot of uranium over there. So this could be purely from a weapons perspective, that, if they want to start stockpiling uranium weapons like nuclear, atomic bombs, seizing Greenland would be the opportunity for them to do that. Is that why? I almost wonder, because I try to think about how all that moving chess pieces move. Does Trump want Greenland so that Russia can't take it? Because if Russia takes Greenland, then it's kind of a wrap. But if U.S. is there first, then Russia can't take it. It's kind of like setting up a defensive position before it gets attacked by someone else. And that would make it so that Russia wouldn't be able to have a staging point against the United States. I have a bad feeling that if these countries could get away with it, they would start World War III. I think that I don't think that we're going to get World War III, but I think that the tensions are higher than everyday people realize. And so seizing Greenland might look like a bad headline, right? It might not be a popular move, but I'm staying open-minded to it because I'm realizing that there's a lot of stuff that I personally don't know. I'm not in the Pentagon. I don't get any security debriefings. Maybe there's a security reason that is legitimate that explains why we need to start doing some of those things. And part of that is also tied in with Venezuela. I mean, you know what? You got to kind of realize being able to kidnap a president of another country is kind of a flex, right? You love it or you hate it. The fact that we were able to pull that off, and when I say we, I really mean the Trump administration. I'm just a guy living in the suburbs. But for our country to pull something off like that, it sends a message. And I wonder if, this is like the game of Risk, and China, Russia, United States are all branching out and making their global moves. That's kind of how I'm seeing it, and that's why I'm choosing not to get offended or get hysterical about these things like you see on social media. I'm just kind of taking it all in and thinking about the geopolitics of it all. Who's moving what and why? And I try to leave emotions out of it as much as I can. Josh is saying, I hope there's one more dump for XRP before the rise up. I would love to buy some around $1.70, $1.80. So I see Gary and Josh are talking about that. If it does go to that level, I too will probably do that. As some of you guys know, as I've been talking about it on this channel, I have the XRP ETFs in my Roth IRA. So it's very easy for me to convert some of my positions that are already in my Roth IRA to the Franklin Templeton XRP ETF. I know it's not my keys, I know it's not my tokens, but you know, it's a way for me to get XRP penalty free. I don't have to pay any capital gains when I move those positions over. I'm not making any early withdrawals, so I don't have to pay any withdrawal penalties either. So the ETF, for what it's worth, is a very, very penalty-free way to move money that you've already put into something else and put it in XRP. So I'm really enjoying the ETFs for that reason alone. Otherwise, I don't currently have the cash flow to necessarily be making giant dumps into, you know, a price drop at this time. By the way, I just saw XRP tick $2 live. That was just caught my eye. So that's what I've been doing. So if the question people are asking is if I'm still buying, the answer is absolutely. I'm definitely still buying. I buy every month regardless of the price, and when events like this happen, I do make the necessary moves to get more of my Roth IRA beefed up. I don't want to get into specific numbers, but I've been slowly moving my stock positions into crypto probably for the past year. So I've been able to be a little bit more aggressive with my portfolio than somebody who's only relying on paychecks could. And I think that's probably as much as I want to say about that. Let's see here. We got Gary got some buy orders for $1.70. We got the Gary CS Gaiman says it's because of the secret alien base. I mean, wouldn't that be interesting? You just never know in this modern world what secrets are out there. EU wants to answer with tariffs on USA. It would probably destroy the crypto market if this happens. Risk on asset, gold and silver will boom even more. Well, let's take a quick look at gold and silver. Oh, this is the stock market. I mean, silver is, I believe, at an all-time high. No, it very briefly crossed $94 over the weekend. But, I mean, it's down a couple cents. Does that really matter at this point? I would say that this is all-time high levels right now. I never bought any silver. I have a friend who will not let me hear the end of it. He is a silver bar hoarder. I'm going to close my window. The mission was accomplished. My buddy's a silver hoarder, and he kept telling me to buy silver, and I said I was going to buy crypto, and at least for now, he's winning, but we'll see in the long run. I do think that crypto, when we start running again, I mean, geez, it is kind of crazy that silver's up 140% in 6 months, but I am a believer, and I know that, you know, when you go 6 months with no real movement in crypto, you kind of start to not believe it anymore, but I am a believer that we will see this kind of growth, 140% in 6 months, on crack. I think what crypto is poised to do is going to quiet all the naysayers, and those of us that have been in the game for a while are going to get the relief we've been looking for. Don't know if that necessarily means you're going to be able to retire this year, but look, you know, if crypto were to do 200 or 300% between now and the end of 2027, I think that alone would be enough relief for a lot of the people that kind of feel burned. Maybe you were buying XRP in 2025. Maybe the only time you ever bought XRP was on January 1st of 2018, which Sorry, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I do think that all-time highs are on the way. We just might have to wait a little bit longer. Um, I want to jump back to XRP for a second and just briefly talk about what I just said here. You'll see people on Twitter, Instagram feeds, all anywhere that social media has XRP presence. You're gonna hear people talk about it. Though the XRP hasn't been blah 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 since 2018 when it was at 3, and people always say it was at 380, even though it was a graphical error. There was no sale of XRP ever at 380, but you know, we look at this chart. January 1st of 2018, XRP went and ripped, and then it fell back down. And people will say like, "Oh, I've been in this thing for 5 years, 10 years. I've been in this since 2017, and it hasn't moved anywhere." Those people drive me crazy because let's just look at 2017 alone and leave 2018 out of it. You're gonna tell me that somebody who was buying XRP when it was at 15 cents, you're gonna tell me they're upset with a $2 XRP? That's almost a 15x. Maybe it's more like 12 or 13x. Not even in the span of a decade, because it's not even 2027 yet. If you were buying XRP in 2017 at any point before its December rip, I mean, even all the way up to November, it was only at a quarter. If you were buying anywhere in this range, if you were dollar cost averaging in 2017, you probably honestly don't really need XRP to go that much higher than what it is right now. A 10x is pretty insane. So it just puts stuff in perspective. The longer you hold on to XRP, the better this is going to go. If XRP only 10x one more time, there's people out there that are going to be more than okay with that. Like a $20 XRP for some people in the game, that is like true retirement levels. Personally, I didn't start buying till 2024. The first time I bought XRP, I think it would have been, let me tighten this little guy up here. Probably would have been somewhere around this range, so early 2024, but I wasn't really a believer yet. You know, you guys know how it is. Someone tells you to buy this thing. You say, all right, whatever, I'll throw $100 in to make this guy happy. And then, you know, I'd throw a little bit more in. At this time, I was actually buying more Ethereum and Solana than I was XRP. I was buying more Bitcoin. XRP was just that thing my buddy told me to get, but you guys know how it is you do more research and you start to find things out. And then I was like, okay, maybe this XRP thing's the real deal. It wasn't until 2025 that I became, I guess, what you would call an XRP maxi. To the point where I actually, for about 6 months, didn't buy a single other token until I started buying HBAR and Flare. I still have my ETH, I still have my Bitcoin, but I haven't bought either of those coins in probably like 7 or 8 months. So that's what I got to say for that. I see there's about 50 of us in here. If you guys could like the stream real quick, that would go a long way at helping me get this live stream spread out to the greater YouTube audience. Every little bit counts, but we're going to keep moving. Want to talk about the JP10Y, because this right here is really what I think is going to make XRP's price shoot straight up to the upside, potentially in the next couple of months. So you guys on this channel, if you've been checking in every week, you know exactly the name of the game here. But for anyone that might be finding out about this stream kind of as we go, to give it about, I'm going to try and do a 1 minute synopsis of the reverse carry trade. So for the past couple of decades, the entire global finance structure goes to Japan to get loans on yen, because the yen has historically had close to zero interest rates, right? So you get this currency that doesn't inflate. You do whatever you want with it. By the time you have to pay your loan back, you're almost guaranteed to beat the spread, because whatever currency you convert to has a higher interest rate. So Unless you did something extremely stupid, you probably win by default. So that's why everyone goes to Japan. Well, the bonds are rapidly rising in interest rate, and the global, or not global, but the total Japanese interest rate across all their markets was at 0% all the way until 2024 when it started to rise, and now we're almost at 1% interest rates on the total Japanese market. Huge problem for everyone involved, because now there's this pressure to start paying those loans back on time, and possibly even early, because if Japan's interest rates, become a runaway train, you got to pay this yen back, but it's inflating at rapid numbers, so it's just going to increase. You guys know, if you've had student loans, how you can end up paying just the interest rate and getting almost none of the premium or the principal down. It's going to be kind of like that on a macro scale with all of these different institutions. So they're going to want to get their loans paid off. I don't know what straw breaks the camel's back, but I was saying this would be around 225 by March or February or March. It's already passed. So it's moving faster than I even thought that it would. If it moves at the rate that it is right now, we could be at 3% by April or May. And I don't know how much, I don't know what exact straw is going to break this camel's back, but I have to imagine this can't be above 3% for long. The reverse carry trade, in my opinion, is inevitable at this point. I just don't know the date. So I want to say I think it happens before April, but originally I thought it could happen in February. I feel like maybe it won't happen in February at this point, just because of how things have been shaking out with clarity, plus issues we're having with Greenland. Maybe this has to percolate a little bit longer, but I have a feeling XRP is going to have a ridiculous upswing, but the reverse carry trade has to happen. And if you don't know what the reverse carry trade is, I'll just give it to you guys very simply. A carry trade is when you go from a low interest rate currency or an asset and convert it into a high interest rate. So that's what the yen is. The yen is a carry trade. Reverse carry trade is the exact opposite. So you go from a high interest rate currency to a low interest rate or a no interest rate currency. That's what XRP is. And oddly enough, the yen has gone from interest free to high interest, making it no longer a carry trade. So very interesting how that's kind of shaped up. But all the headlines we see in Japan, all signs are pointing to Japan using XRP at scale. And they've already got kind of the test run out there. Like, you can go to the grocery store or whatever kind of markets you would go to in Japan. I don't know if they exactly use grocery stores like we would, but you can pay already in XRP. So the proof of concept is there. It's being used at the street level. I think it's only a matter of time before the reverse carry trade just unwinds altogether. And essentially every $1 trillion that it goes towards this reverse carry trade would jump the market cap up by $1 trillion, right? So right now we're sitting at 120 billion, and that would essentially add like $20 to the XRP price for each trillion that moves in there. And that's not even considering the fact that we don't even have the max supply. The circulating supply is locked up by ETFs. There's a chance here that those numbers are actually too conservative, and that the reverse carry trade, maybe $1 trillion does way more than just increase the price by $20, $20 US dollars. It's possible it goes even beyond that, because if there's only so many tokens that can be used to pay Japan back, like, you're not gonna have 60 billion tokens available for that, right? Because there's people like us holding our XRP in cold wallets. But on an institutional level, if they've only got 2 or 3 billion tokens that they can use, then we have a potential here for the reverse carry trade to actually jump the price up like way more than what I was originally thinking. I'm pulling up the XRP rich list right now because I just want to kind of illustrate this. There's only, let's see here. They redesigned the site, so I gotta kind of gain my bearings here. There's only 6 wallets that have more than 1 billion XRP. And when you add those 6 wallets together, you have 9 billion total tokens. Working down the list, there's 20 accounts that have between 500 million and 1 billion. Those total for about 10.5 billion. So if we look at these top 4 brackets, this is roughly 300, maybe 300 and some change wallets, accounting for almost 40 billion of the available XRP, which means us retail holders are probably these lower ones. I have a hard time believing there's too many retail people holding 10 million, but let's say I bet there's some big whales out there that have been in this game a long time. Maybe they've got 1 million tokens, right? So if we work from this bracket down, there might only be, I don't have an Excel open to do a sum equation on this. There's probably only somewhere between 10 and 15 billion tokens actually being held by retail. That would be people like you and I. That would be people holding XRP in the ETFs. And so when you think about it, really, we're like grains of sand in a sandcastle. It's the institutions that are holding most of these tokens. And if there's only a small amount available on the exchanges, the reverse carry trade has to go through what's on the available market. So this is kind of where the idea comes from when you see people making kind of sensational videos saying like $1,000 XRP, $10,000 XRP. That's kind of where this comes from. The only reason I don't like making those kind of videos is because I have no idea where this is going to land. I just know that if it unwinds, it's going to be more. I think it's going to be more than enough. If you've been stockpiling XRP, whether it goes to $100 or $200 or $300. At some point, it's just bigger numbers are just bigger numbers. Like if your goal is to quit your job, if your goal is to, move to a nicer neighborhood or just kind of redesign your life, if you have $50 million at the end of this, does any of this stuff really matter whether it goes higher than that or not? And I'm not saying that all of us here are going to end up in that bracket, but to me, it's just sort of like, who cares if it goes to 1,000 or 10,000? It's not even worth for me thinking about it. It's just like grab it, get enough tokens while they're on sale. They're only at $2. Get enough tokens so that $20 XRP is enough for you. That was definitely not financial advice. That was definitely just my opinion. But if you do it that way, the more tokens you have, the less reliant you are on a giant price. And then if those giant prices do end up happening, then just use your capital to like fix up your community, become the hero of your neighborhood. That you always hear people saying like, oh, the government doesn't help us out or whatever. If you end up like out of control rich from all this, like beyond what you were ever thinking was possible, use that money to improve your community. You probably only need like $2 or $3 million to fulfill your lifestyle. So if you end up with $50 million out of this, like, that's why I always tell people, don't just stop buying XRP just because you think 500 tokens are going to be enough or 1,000 tokens are going to be enough. Use your capital now so that you can do bigger things later. I mean, there's more to life than getting crab legs and and driving around in a Lambo. You're gonna need a lot of capital if you want to fix your community. That's gonna come into. Those are gonna be numbers way bigger than buying your Lambo. Trust me. I want to catch up with the chat since it's been a minute. Russell asks, how are your earnings coming along with Firelight? Yeah, so my Firelight's doing good. I'm hesitant to show you guys on the stream because that would make my wallet visible. but I check it pretty frequently. I want to say I have somewhere around 500,000 Firelight points right now. I actually, if you guys don't mind, I do have my cell phone on me. I could just check real quick, and then I'll give you guys a real number. Again, I don't want to necessarily put this up on screen right now just because, the personal details, but I guess it doesn't hurt to at least tell you guys what my numbers are. Let's see here. The site's taking a while to load. While it loads, I might look at the next question or just keep talking about it, but Firelight's been going good. I kind of wish they would make at least some kind of announcement about when phase 2 goes live, because right now it's like the honest answer is, what do these points really mean? It's not, I don't think any of us really have a good answer for that right now. And so, I'd like to know what does 500,000 Firelight points get me? But I think we'll get the answers to this stuff in time. I've got my... Okay, so I could probably show this to you guys. Here, if I cover that little bad boy up. Maybe you guys can see this, maybe you can't. But I've got about 420. Can you guys see that? I think it might be blurry. That's okay. I have about 430 Firelight points. And it goes up every day. So I don't know what their scheduling looks like, but every time I look at it, it's a little bit higher than the last. And that's even on like an hourly basis. If you're not in Firelight yet, because the vaults haven't been increased, I would say, don't worry about it until you absolutely have to. By the way, if you guys did care, the vaults have room for maybe a couple hundred XRP right now. If that was something that you were interested in, the vaults right now are slightly open. There's like 24,999,999, but it's not at 25 million. So if you do want to get in Firelight right now, I would literally move on this like right now. Otherwise, it's probably going to fill up. Otherwise, you just have to keep waiting for them to raise the pools. Gary says your house is trying to cook you. I agree. I don't know what the deal is. Every other room in my house is normal, but then the home office just gets like swelteringly hot. It probably, I wonder if it factors in that I have all this sound blocking stuff on my walls. I don't want to say soundproofing, but just to kind of reduce some of the echo. I have to imagine that it at least absorbs a little bit of heat. Anything under $2, buy. XRP personal opinion. I agree. And like I was saying a minute ago, just because you hit your own target goal, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't just keep getting more. Because if your goal is to save your community, maybe you want to like donate to the church or like renovate the church, or if you're involved with like youth sports, great way to help kids from not getting down a lifestyle of, like, I gotta be careful what words I say. I had one of my videos got hit with a content strike because of the vocabulary used. So, if you want to keep kids off the street and doing street activities, getting them into sports is a great way to do that. And if you had the ability to go build an entire, football field or a basketball court or like an indoor basketball league or whatever, you guys get the idea. If you're buying XRP past your target goal, if this thing really does play out, then you have more ability to do stuff like that. Otherwise, if you just have $2 or $3 million, you can retire on a personal level, but you're still at that point just an individual, and there's really not much that you can do with that capital level that's going to make a big difference. So I always tell people, like, if you can buy more at $2, just keep buying more, because there's going to come a point when it's no longer feasible. I saw there was a comment about SWE. I don't think I answered that one, so let me drag back up. I don't have any SWE at all. I know some people do like it. I don't have any of it. I keep it on my radar. But to some extent, you can't buy every coin, right? You eventually will spread yourself too thin. So I know that people like it, and I think it's probably a fine coin to buy. But since I'm already trying to expand into quant, if you guys know me, I'm all about XRP, HBAR, and Flare. So for people to have convinced me to start buying quant is a pretty big deal. I don't know at this time that I want to buy another token until my quant bag is a little bit bigger. I literally just started buying it last week. And I'd rather buy quant than SWE at this point. Gonna catch up on the chat. By the way, let's just check the numbers here. We got 50 of you guys watching, only 31 likes. If you guys could help me bump those up a little bit. If you're brand new to the channel and you found this stream through YouTube suggestions or your homepage, if you're enjoying it, make sure to subscribe. We stream daily, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then I do pre-recorded videos at night. Thanks to the NFL playoffs, I didn't end up making my video last night, so I'll be making it today. We're going to be talking about my true XRP price theory. So if you guys have been watching the channel, you probably already kind of have a good idea of what it is. But this will be a good video. I'm experimenting with new devices. I have an iPad that I'm going to use to draw my own things. That way I don't have to use a mouse to draw. I think it'll be a cool one. But keep an eye out for that one. Should be coming out later today or in the morning at the earliest if I don't get around to finishing it. RX Can Flow says, I agree. They're annoying AF, claiming numbers of where XRP will go. It pisses me off. Influencers are really just dragging news that has nothing to do with the price. I do agree with that. It can be tough for me when I'm doing research. I go to Twitter, I try to find out what the actual moves are, and then I'm just sort of bogged down by, it's almost like there's these ChatGPT postings, right? Like I won't spend too much on it, but we can kind of just look at a few of them. It's almost like, oh, here we go. Let me just do all this junk. Yeah, come on. Why are you not already signed in? You can't find my account? How is that possible? Oh my goodness. I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes struggle with Twitter. I lost a Twitter account for no reason. It said that I was, I think it got stolen by a bot. I'm going to try and find my login real quick. I'm sorry about this. I don't even know what email I use for this new Twitter. I can't find it here in a second. We'll just... Well, what's my email? Oh, my bad, you guys. Where do I go for... This is frustrating. Maybe we just won't look at Twitter today. Oh, that's really frustrating. I don't know why it logged me out. I had it open and whatever. I guess there's no Twitter today. Okay, I think we got it. Whatever. Okay, there's no Twitter today. I'm sorry, you guys. But in general, if you look at Twitter, you'll see all of these posts of people that are XRP, blah, 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 blah. Or not just XRP, but other coins too. And then there's always this like chat GPT text that goes along with it, which I don't know about you guys. I don't really like AI generated content unless it's like funny videos. Those, I guess that's an exception I'll make, but I in general don't really like I don't really like AI generated text from like ChatGPT. The only time I use it, and I guess, you know, maybe I'm a little bit guilty of this myself, but I use ChatGPT for descriptions of my videos. Does anyone actually read the descriptions, especially if they're like way at the bottom of my video? That's about the extent of it that I go. And I don't know. I feel like that's fine, but to go and just constantly make ChatGPT content is a little annoying to me. I don't know if you guys know who the Hodge twins are. They used to be a bodybuilding channel. They had a post the other day covering the Minneapolis riots, and at the end of the description on their Instagram post, it said, I can make this more aggressive if you'd like me to. And I'm like, dude, they copy and pasted a ChatGPT thing into their description and forgot to edit out the part where ChatGPT was asking if they wanted to change up the message. So that was really funny to me. Let me catch up. By the way, I did get it, you guys. I'm on Twitter. Let me catch up here. Golden Dome, or like Israel's Iron Dome. I'm gonna get in trouble if I go down that rabbit hole, but I have a feeling all of us are probably loosely aware or on the same page on that one. I think I'm gonna dollar cost average into SoFi this whole year. Retail holds how many wallets too? I only have 3, but I don't believe YouTuber Mickle has 17. Is that referring to the XRP rich list? Because if it is, you know, I'll say, you know, I've got my Coinbase, I've got Gemini, I have my real wallet, I have my YouTube wallet for when I make videos. I feel like there's one more wallet that I have. I think I have 5 in total. By the way, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, but on the last stream, some of you guys said that you want me to have an XRP tip jar. Is that something you guys would actually want? Because I do have this YouTube wallet. If you guys really were serious about that, instead of joining the membership program, I could just throw a wallet address on there. I don't know. It was, to me, it seems like it could be kind of a risky idea, but I guess if it was a specifically XRP wallet just for this channel, maybe I'd be open-minded to it. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know if I'm going to move on that today, but I'm just going to put it on the radar and see if there's any interest in that. Otherwise, I have been advertising. I got this new membership program. Just more ways to help keep this channel running while I scale up. You know, some of you guys know I just started this in November, so we're about to hit 7,000 subscribers, which is actually a lot faster than I thought it was going to go. But you don't really start making sustainable income on YouTube until you're around the 50,000 subscriber mark. So, you know, I've been keeping my head down, just grinding things out, making multiple videos a week, streaming daily. But the membership program really kind of helps give me some stable income while I flesh this thing out. Up to you guys if you want to join. It's just $1 a month, nothing too crazy. I don't have a whole lot to offer you guys beyond just, I'm just going to keep pumping out content. One thing I don't want to do, and I know it's easy for me to say this as a new YouTuber, I don't ever want to lock information behind a paywall. So even if you were to join the membership program, I don't know that I'd ever make membership exclusive videos. I just feel like that's scummy behavior. It's not something I would want to do. If I were to make a membership video, it'd be something very informal and probably wouldn't have anything to do with crypto. It'd probably just be like hey, I'm sitting at the airport and I got nothing going on. Let's just do a ask me anything, or maybe I would do something on that level, but I would never want to hide information behind a paywall. So I guess that's all I got to say about that. Catching back up with some of the chats here. Wine Viking or Viken. I am buying more vines for my vineyard. It's a very small vineyard. Do you like wine? I love wine. Steph says, mention the riddles. I was watching a YouTube channel last night about 589 decoding. It was really cool. Short videos picking up all the little details. Yeah, I saw that 589 is actually a protocol. I'm finding out new stuff about that all the time. Can you put together a really granular video on how to use XRP and Flare to generate APY that generates monthly income? Not a financial guy, and it sounds like retailers can make it outside the banks. Well, I'm glad you asked. I am making a Flare video that I plan to release on February 1st. I'm making it on the 1st simply so that the dates are clean, because I'm gonna do a 6-month experiment. I'm gonna open up a very large position of Flare, and I'm gonna experiment with literally every single thing that you can do on the Flare network. And I'll be keeping a running log that we'll be able to track the success of it. And hopefully by the end of by August 1st, because I want to run this thing for 6 months, we'll have some pretty conclusive data as to what's the best way to get returns on your Flare. Is it through delegating and getting epochs? Is it through staking? There is also the FXRP collateral pool. So I'm going to allocate in equal portions every single thing you can do, and it's important that I start it at the same time with the same token values. That way the data is clean. So I'm going to be opening up new positions on Flare. Probably going to buy maybe 200,000 or 300,000 worth of Flare. It's going to be a pretty big purchase. So I'm kind of hoping prices stay down here. I've been waiting to see if Flare goes below a penny again. Like, I know right now this is functionally a penny, but if we get rid of this 1 and instead turn this 0 into a 9, I think that's when I would execute that trade. Otherwise, I'll have it ready by February 1st regardless. That's going to be a very granular video like you're asking, Russell, and it's also going to come in installments so that we can see how it's performing month to month. And then I think I'll make it a 6-month series. Maybe we'll do a monthly check-in, or if it doesn't need a monthly check-in, maybe I'll just do a 3-month check-in, and maybe that'll just be a 3-part video. But excited about that one because that's going to be really informative for like how do we participate in DeFi, and what does it really look like from a financial perspective? Like, is this good income? Obviously, with Flare being a penny, you know, it's not making money yet. So you'd have to have millions of Flare for the DeFi to really be making money. But I think all of that changes. I mean, we're still so early on this, you guys. We are truly crypto pioneers if we're involved in staking and lending and all of this. You give it 5-10 years. I mean, I don't even know 10 years from now how high all this stuff is going to be. We got Rated Russian. Hey, Andrew, sorry I had you on my big TV. Can't comment on there, but hope you're having a good day, buddy. Thanks for the content. Thank you, Rated. I appreciate that. You know, without you guys, I'd be talking to a blank camera. So you guys help give me the motivation to keep this thing rolling. YouTube channel Decoding 589 was not financial advice, crypto. I might take a quick poke at this real quick. Some people have said they don't like it when I look at videos on this live stream. It's like, okay, fair enough. Maybe I won't do that, but I don't know. If you guys want me to look at this, The last time I clicked a Bearable Guy video, I did get a copyright strike for music. Because you asked for it, I'm going to click on this. If there's any music, I'm going to have to pause it. But let's just see what happens. Is this the one you were talking about, by the way, before I even click on this? That was to Steph. Or maybe this is just the channel. Oh, was it this one? Is this why Riddle's about Fave 89? If you could tell me, then, you know, this is a short video. I think we could probably, it's only 3 minutes. We could probably click into that and watch it. All right, cool. I know some people don't like that, but Steph asked, so I'm gonna do it. If you guys don't like it,
wait till you see this.
Get over it.
In Star Wars, every ship has a unique designation, or craft ID, like a unique identifier. Here's a clip of 2 stormtroopers sharing their craft IDs.
I was TZ-1719, Stormtrooper.
FN-2187.
So starships have unique designations or craft IDs, right? Okay. What's the unique designation of Luke Skywalker's iconic X-Wing?
It's going to be 589.
AA589. Luke Skywalker, the...
I know that there's people in the XRP space that are very into numerology. I mean, did George Lucas really know about XRP like 40 years ago? I don't know.
Hero in one of the most famous movies of all time flew around in a big X called 589. I mean, are you kidding me? This was revealed in the 1991 Star Wars Expanded Universe novel, Heir to the Empire, and became an established fact.
The single most important starfighter in the Star Wars galaxy. Some know it by its unit designation number, AA589. Others know it by its call sign, Red 5. And some simply know it as Luke Skywalker's X-Wing.
And it gets even crazier. Look how they snuck this 589 fact into the most recent Star Wars movie as an Easter egg.
Let's see if we can read this. Oh, maybe he's just going to get to it.
X-Wing's 589 designation number is so quick and subliminal, it's unbelievable.
Sorry, I'm afraid Arthur's memory bank must be crossed with his logic receptors. He says he is receiving a transmission from Master Luke.
That's an old craft ID.
Wait a minute, did you see it? Probably not, because for one, it was a split second, and two, it was shown backwards because the camera is filming through the screen. Right here. But if you freeze it and flip it, there it is. Like magic, 589. Talk about an Easter egg.
So what do you guys think about this? Because I don't know. The riddle stuff really reminds me of the QAnon era. Let's finish the video, but I want to see in the comments, what do you guys think about this kind of stuff in general, the 589 riddles?
When they see that craft ID, they know it's Luke Skywalker's historic X-Wing.
That's an old craft ID. That's Luke Skywalker's X-Wing.
Isn't that just totally incredible? I mean, think about all the times you've seen this X-Wing and how only right now do you know that it carried a sneaky 589 all along. And aren't these parallels and archetypes just too on the nose to simply be a coincidence? Luke the hero, a big X, and 589. Brad the hero, a big X, and 589. Or in other words...
Are people saying that Brad Garlinghouse is a bearable guy? Is that the theory?
Luke Skywalker, the hero, uses an X with 589 subliminally attached to it to defeat the Galactic Empire in Star Wars. Brad Garlinghouse, the hero, uses an X with 589 subliminally attached to it to defeat the banking empire in real life. You can't make this stuff up.
I think this, it's interesting stuff. I don't know if I totally buy it, but I'm an open-minded guy, so I'm never going to say something that is completely not true or anything like that. But the 589, the bearable guy stuff really reminds me of the QAnon era. Maybe the QAnon era is still ongoing. I don't know. I haven't really kept up with it, but I do remember at one point, especially kind of around 2019, 2020, that there are all these cryptic 4chan posts from basically all you knew it was from someone named Q. By the way, some lore on that. Q was the riddle person, and then Anon was actually all the people on 4chan trying to decode the message. So nothing ever came out of that. It never played out. I don't know what it was. Was it a prank? Was QAnon real at one point and they just lost or they got defeated? I don't know. I see some similar parallels with the Bearable Guy stuff, so I'm kind of skeptical when I see stuff like that. But now that I'm back here on Twitter, I see stuff all the time that it's like, am I looking at real news or am I looking at chat GPT generated content? This one might be real. Quant staking at all levels without disadvantaging smaller holders. There's your long-awaited answer. I could probably look more into this later. We won't read articles. I think reading articles is boring. Trying not to talk too much about this stuff because I know it gets people really heated. But like I've been saying, I don't know if we should show that on this channel, but the civil unrest, I kind of predicted it 2 weeks ago was going to get worse, and it has. There's videos all over the internet right now. If you watch this stuff enough, it has a way of changing you. I can say this from personal experience. If I get into sort of like a doom scrolling spiral where I'm watching like riot footage or people beating each other up or whatever it ends up being, I can find myself mentally in a very dark place after that. So I try to limit how much I look at that stuff because I know if I look at it long enough, I'll start getting angry. And I think that's what a lot of this stuff is, you guys. I won't watch the video, but you're seeing someone get dragged out of a car. I don't know who they are, but I know that there's 4,500 comments. We won't go through too much of them, but I can almost guarantee you it's people just saying very inflammatory things. We won't dig too much. I don't necessarily want to get onto that level, but you'll definitely see it on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Once there's violent footage going out, the sides get so polarized. It's just like crazy. So I tried to limit how much I look at that myself, but it does to some extent need to be talked about because crypto right now is kind of held to this regulatory soup that we're stuck in. And so whether we like it or not, right now it's very political. And so all this political turmoil is interrelated because it's a Republican and Democrat arena, whether we like it or not. Nice catch, by the way. If you've got the Republicans in favor of crypto, then the Democrats are going to be anti-crypto simply because the Republicans are pro. And if the shoe was on the other foot, maybe the Democrats would be the pro-crypto party. But they're not. It just is what it is. And if there's all these riots and things like that end up being bad for Republicans in the midterms, the Clarity Act could be in serious trouble. So it's something, even though I don't really like covering the riots that much, I feel like it's something that we've got to at least be aware of because it could have some real impact on whether or not we get the Clarity Act passed. Hey, good morning, Shelby. And even if the Clarity Act does get passed, they've been adding so much junk into it through amendments that we almost don't want it to pass. And so it's this really murky water where almost nobody's happy. And I think the White House is upset with Coinbase for kind of poo-pooing the bill. But I think Coinbase deserves some praise for that. I was not aware of how bad the Clarity Act was until people started sounding the alarm on it, specifically coming from Coinbase and also the Paul Barron network. When I started finding certain things out about it, like for me, the one that was really stuck out the most was that your crypto would essentially have to be registered with the IRS. So even right now, if I were to hand you a $20 bill, there's no way for the IRS to know that that exchange happened. Like, cash just moves freely. But if the IRS is quite literally tracking your wallets and has the authority to track your wallet to that level, then crypto goes from being this space that was very secure and anonymous to being an even deeper level of surveillance, to the point where you wouldn't even be able to buy a Starbucks coffee with your crypto without having the IRS have a direct linkage to that. And that would definitely factor in with your cold wallets. It's something where I'm like, well, maybe we actually avoided something really bad here. But it comes at the expense of, we didn't get that price appreciation that we all wanted. I want to talk about this guy. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know. Is this guy just full of crap? Apparently he's got the highest IQ in the world. I've seen Elon Musk talk about him. I don't know where he came from, but he's been making all kinds of wild predictions on Twitter. I don't know what to think about this guy. But you kind of see this kind of stuff all the time. Famous people, I don't even know if he's like truly famous or what he's got 400,000 followers, so he must be doing something right. I don't know. Why are all these people coming out of the woodwork to give these wild price predictions that never play out? This guy says the next 11 hours, that was 4 hours ago, I'll eat a shoelace on stream tomorrow if this guy ends up being right. I won't necessarily eat a whole shoe, but I'll eat a shoelace. Yeah, I think we need some rationality in 2026, because I'm sick of all the hype content too. I have to kind of teeter a fine line. It's like, what do I actually believe, and then what is just brainless hype? And so that's just why I keep checking the Japanese bond, because I'm like, all right, if this thing crashes, or not crashes, but if the reverse carry trade unwinds, this thing is the pathway forward. So that's kind of how I bridge that. Yeah, there's no way. Oh my gosh, I can't cover some of this stuff. I'll have a shoe, a leather or string shoelace. I'll probably just pull the shoelace off of one of my gym shoes. Otherwise, I could pull one of the laces off my hockey skates. That would be fun, right? If XRP is $100 tomorrow, I will eat one of my hockey shoelace or my skate laces from the boot. I don't know how that'll work, but if we have $100 XRP, then tomorrow I'm eating the dirty hockey boot shoelace. Rated Russian says, I don't watch any of it. I really don't, man. I use Facebook, X, Instagram, and whatever I have accounts for those platforms, but never use them. Thank God I'm not a doom scroller. That's good, man, because, I'll tell you guys, I'll be open about it. Back in 2020, during the original whatever you want to call it, coming out of Minneapolis at that time with George Floyd, I saw a lot of footage on the internet of just crazy things happening in the street. Street fights, people getting hurt. In some cases, I think there was some footage I saw of actual I don't know how to use these YouTube censorship words like unaliving. I don't want to have to say unalive. But I did have a video that got demonetized over language use, so it's like a weird thing that I'm teetering around. But once you see stuff like that on camera and you just start to like, it makes your blood boil. But at the end of the day, there's also nothing you can do about it because, you know, what am I going to do about a video that came out of Houston, Texas, or a video that came out of Minneapolis? I don't live in those states. I'm not anywhere near it. But it's like this negative energy that like stays with you throughout the day. So I try to limit as much as I can how much I see of that. But then at the same time, I do have to know what's going on at a macro level in order to make good investment decisions. So interesting stuff. Firelight, turn idle XRP into productive capital. I don't think this post says anything we didn't already know. Let's see. I wonder, I don't want to sound arrogant, but do you guys think I made a better video on how to set up Firelight? If you are curious, I do have videos on my channel in my demos playlist showing you exactly how to set it up. I'm curious. I just want to see, is their video guide any good? Oh, it's coming from the Flare Networks.
Today I'll show you how to mint
channel,
and
so
redeem your F assets.
I'm gonna say
First,
it's good
open
no
the
matter
minting
what.
dashboard using one of the links below. Then click Connect Wallet. Choose your preferred wallet connection. For this demonstration, I'll use Bifrost. Click Wallet Connect. Select the networks you want to connect to, then click Connect. A QR code will appear. Scan the QR code.
In my video, I show the QR code and I scan it. It's not a competition. Flare, if you're watching this, we're just having fun.
And confirm the connection in your wallet. Once connected, you'll see your current FXRP position and pool information. Click Mint. Make sure your XRP address is connected. Click Mint FXRP, then select the number of lots you'd like to mint. You can go with the pre-selected agent or
I forgot to include this part in my video. Yeah, you can change your agent. Not that it really matters much. It's the same end result.
review all the details carefully, then click Next. Confirm the SGB reservation in your wallet, followed by the XRP deposit. You can now close this window. You'll see a pending transaction listed below. After a few minutes, the minting process will be complete. Your FXRP balance will update, and the transaction status will change to Finished.
Let's see, when did this video come
To
out?
redeem your F
Wow,
assets,
4
click
months ago.
Redeem. Select number of lots to redeem. Check all the numbers. Click on Next. Confirm the transaction in your wallet and wait a few minutes for the process to complete. Refresh the page once done. Finished.
Yeah, it's a good video. They
To
were
deposit
much-
into collateral pool,
They were much faster to the point than I was. But in my video, because I don't think Firelight existed at the time that they made this one. It looks like they uploaded theirs 4 months ago. In my video, we go all the way to Firelight. So if you guys do want to check that out, I'll do some self-plug-in here. This video, Flare and Firelight staking demo. I'm just gonna link this in the chat. You guys can watch it after the stream if you want. Some of you guys may have already seen it, but if you watch this, I take you guys through all the steps. I make sure like you couldn't possibly mess it up, because I start this straight from a Google search. So like you could from literally your Google search
Flare
bar
network. Simply by going
to
into
getting all the way to this video actually might have been my Flare staking video. There's two
follow
of
up
them
to
now.
that. See
Oh no. Yeah, okay. This one does have Firelight. So I not only go through Firelight. So this was a total end to end. You get all the way to Firelight. And then the second half of the video, I show you guys how to use FTSO analytics tools so that you can really dive in there and figure out, you know, which FTSO provider do I want to pick. If you guys haven't seen this video, I highly recommend checking it out, because that'll show you more in depth how to really manage the Flare network. And then keep an eye out. February 1st is going to be that first video for, I call it my horse racing video, because I'm going to be basically racing my tokens against each other to see which ones end up with the best yield after 6 months. Steph says, yeah, like a few days ago when you went skiing, it's good to have a day where you get away from the laptop and phone, enjoy life. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's kind of what this weekend was. You know, I'm a big NFL junkie. We're in the playoffs. We got 2 weekends left of football. So Saturday and Sunday were very big football days for me. Plus I went skiing on Friday. So I didn't get as much done for the channel over the weekend as I would have liked. But I guess that's kind of what the weekdays are for. But I am trying to take this channel full time. So it's interesting. If you guys are ever curious, I might in a couple weeks take you guys through an analytics of the channel, or I guess we could even just look at it a little bit right now since we're here. You know, I probably spend a solid 40 to 50 hours a week on the channel right now. So these streams are 2 hours daily, so that's 10 hours a week right there. Any one of these videos that I shoot, where's the video? There we go. Any one of these videos takes between 3 and 5 hours to film, to edit, to make the thumbnail, to ChatGPT the description. I do use it for that. I don't think people really read video descriptions, so I hope you guys don't mind, but I don't use a script. I just hit the record button and I talk until I feel like I've got the good rhythm going. And then, you know, it keeps everything authentic. You see so many videos these days that are just either completely AI generated or it's someone reading an AI script. I don't do any of that. For better or worse, I'm kind of making it up as I go. I don't know if that's the right way to be, but that's how I've been doing it. You know, this is 3 months worth of content here. Almost about to hit. If you guys are curious, you know, I am monetized. I'm making some money. It's not crazy. I'm currently making about $500 a month. That's what you could probably expect from a channel under 10,000 subs. So if I was at, 50,000 subs, you could probably expect just about 2,500 alone from ad revenue. I'm in talks with some other potential sponsors, so trying to build this thing out, see how I can turn this into a full-time job. But if you guys kind of see, like, this is sort of what a breaking out channel kind of looks like. So this app looks a lot better on the phone, by the way. But all in all, I'd say, I'm filming a video a day. That takes about 4 to 5 hours. We're streaming, and then I'm interacting with you guys in the comments. I try to reply to every single comment, even the negative ones. Some of these ones are so old, like, I don't know if someone's from 2 weeks ago is coming back for a comment, but I even respond to the negative comments. It can be, it comes with the territory, right? This is how it is with a channel. You're going to get negative comments. I even reply to those. I try to stay on top of it as much as I can. I forget how I got on this topic, but just in case, if you guys ever wanted, maybe when I hit like 10,000 subs, we could do like a channel breakdown, and you guys could see like what is it really like to make content, and like why do people make certain videos that they do. I think some things are interesting. Like, I made this video about crypto scams, which I thought was a really good video, but it didn't perform well. But then you make a video about, like, this video is really popping off right now. It's, target levels for investors. So it seems like people really like the videos about making them rich, don't necessarily care so much about, here are the scams. So it's interesting as a creator, you never really know which idea is going to take off. There's so much I could say about this stuff. Maybe we'll do like a channel review video when I get to 10,000. I'm getting about 200 a day lately, which is pretty crazy. Almost every single day I look at the subs. Yeah, I'm at 6,900 right now. Without me having to do anything, I bet if I didn't even post another video this entire week, I'd probably break 7,000 just from what's already out there alone. Cool stuff, I just started this in November. I got laid off in April of last year. I took a 6-month contracting gig, and while I was working that job, I was getting the stage ready to become a YouTuber. So I was buying the cameras, I was buying the equipment, because I knew it was a 6-month contract. I had a target finish date right before Thanksgiving, and when that went, I was like, all right, let's go all in on content. I want to give this until June. If I'm operational in June and I'm making enough to survive, I'll do it full time. Otherwise, I'd probably scale it back, and I'd probably have to start streaming at night, and then just suck it up and do a day job and just sort of double dip and have a day job during the day and then talk crypto at night. I think that's probably what'll have to happen unless something huge happens in the next couple of months. But I want to give it some time, see what happens. Let me catch up on the comments here. 20K XRP could be life changing. I 100% agree. You know what, Zerp, I think you might have joined late. We actually kind of covered that earlier in the segment. I did a bit on what it was like for people buying XRP back in this era. As long as you weren't buying XRP in between December and maybe February, like, look at the prices that people were getting XRP at in either direction. If you were getting it in October of 2017, you're getting XRP at 20 cents. If you're getting XRP in April of 2018, you're getting XRP at 50 cents. So it's like, even if you were buying at 50 cents, getting a 4x on your money over 6 years is unheard of in the stock market, right? And even in 2019, you could have been buying, if you were dollar cost averaging throughout this whole period, I mean, geez, even a 4x, it would have been insane. Something I could spend more time talking about is principal-based investing. If you invest $200,000 in principal, you only need about a 10x on your principal to get to $2 million, which I think would be the entry level needed for retirement, at least here in the United States. I know abroad you probably can get away with a lot less than that, but at least, since I live in the U.S., I kind of use a U.S. frame of reference. At $2 million, you have the option to walk away from your career if it's not working out for you, if you just can't stand, like, personally, I couldn't stand driving into work in stop and go traffic. It raised an anger in me that would carry out through the morning, and then I would have to do it again on the drive home. So it's like twice a day, I'm almost like steam coming out of my ears, yelling in traffic. And I was doing that 5 days a week. And this was after we already saw that you could work some of these types of jobs remotely. Like, I worked remote for almost 2 straight years. And then they just made this arbitrary return to work rule where I felt like it almost was a way for them to control your life in some kind of sick, like, sadistic, maniacal way. Of course, the CEO of the company kept working remote. And, you know, I pay attention to stuff like that. It really bothered me. I guess what I'm trying to get with this is if you get to a $2 million mark from XRP or any investment, you just need to take $200,000 in principal and 10x it. You're not going to do that in the stock market, so crypto is the way to go. That can get you enough financial freedom to at least say, like, all right, I can live the bum life on $2 million. You know, that's just, you're not getting the Lambo or anything crazy like that, but, you know, maybe you get a van and you just drive around the country, go skiing or just golf every day. I mean, whatever your hobbies are, we all have different hobbies, but as long as you're not trying to live a life of luxury, I think 2 million is a spot where you could just about do any hobby. If you're into scuba diving, go scuba diving. Hiking, go hiking. And I think about that stuff a lot because for me, that's really been the life goal. I personally don't ever want to sit in a cubicle ever again if I can avoid it. And I'm not saying that you guys have to help me get there. Just keep watching the content and I'll just sort of let these things just work itself out. By the way, XRP's up a penny since we started the stream. And I guess when I say up a penny, it's still down 6 cents from last night, but it does look like we're getting at least some market recovery even as we go. Aman says, look into getting a VA to assist with the video production so that you have more time to work on the quality. Just a thought. That's fair. When you say VA, do you mean video assistant? Yeah, I think all this stuff will happen in time. I'm doing all of this. I'm literally doing the entire thing myself. The research, the videos, the editing, all of it. As you grow and get better at things, you're able to like outsource a lot of that. A virtual assistant. So how would that work? Because I guess I'm not so savvy when it comes to some of these AI tools, but maybe I should start learning. If a virtual assistant helps in any capacity, I'm open-minded to it. Zerp says 5% APY on 2.5 million is 125K. Yep, 100% agree with that, and that's why I'm so big on Flare. Okay, so Aman, would a virtual assistant be like a real person then? It's just virtual? I guess I'm just trying to pull this thread. Because maybe this is a... Is this something? Would this be something you're talking about? Kind of like what we're looking at here. There's all these things I've got to click off. Boost productivity and cut overhead costs with an experiential virtual assistants. Yeah, I can look into this. I think that would be nice to have someone who's able to do some of the record keeping for me and things like that. It'll just make things easier for me. So I do agree that's probably a good idea. I want to look a couple more things on Twitter. We are coming up to the end of the hour. Don't necessarily have to get to 2 hours every single day. Might start shortening this up to an hour and a half if that kind of keeps the content more on target. Aman says they're pretty cheap to work on the way you like your videos set up. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. It'd be nice to have someone else in my corner, especially for the live streams, because sometimes things will go wrong when I'm live, and it's like, oh crap, like I don't know what to do because I don't want to necessarily interrupt the stream to fix it. But then if you don't, oh, Rated Russian, you have videos on cold wallets? I do. So I have a video on the descent. I can link it into the chat here. This is like straight out of the box everything, how to configure a cold wallet. We even do some test transactions. It's a little bit long. It was one of the first videos I made when I started content, so maybe it's a little bit too long. You could definitely kind of just brush through it if you felt like you didn't need a full 27 minutes to set up a cold wallet. But for what it's worth, I quite literally don't miss a single detail. So maybe there's almost too much information in it, but you're definitely not going to walk away from this video without a tremendous understanding of how to set up a decent cold wallet. So, and I don't have other wallets, but if you check that one out, you'll at least know everything you need to know about Decent to get that thing going. I think I'm going to start wrapping things up. Oh, I do see a tweet here from Gilbert Verdian. He is the quant head honcho, by the way. I don't know if we necessarily need to read a whole paragraph tweet, but all in all, I guess I'd summarize by saying things like just hang in there. I know the prices haven't really been great. I know it's not shaking out how we wanted to this week, but I'm still optimistic. Still checking the Japanese bond market every day. I think it's only a matter of time before this thing absolutely rips. Coop says the crypto ETFs are better than actual crypto. Yes and no. So I have both. I do have crypto ETFs. They're in my retirement accounts. I do like the fact that I don't have to worry about it at all. So, I got the Franklin Templeton XRPZ ETF. I don't ever have to worry about losing my keys or remembering passcodes or anything like that. But then I lose the opportunity to enroll those tokens into DeFi because they're not my tokens. I just own a share of the overall portfolio. It's kind of like investing in mining stocks. Some people don't necessarily want to mine the Bitcoin. They'd rather just own shares of the Bitcoin miner. And I guess if all you cared about was the money angle, the ETFs are not a bad play. But I want to be able to participate in the lending and the staking as well. I have both. So, I'm going to be good either way. But I do think there's definitely some value, especially if you've got a Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard, Merrill Lynch. If you got Roth IRAs or traditional IRAs with them, instead of paying penalties and withdrawal fees, I think it's a really good move to just get the ETF, keep it in the same portfolio, and then you don't even have to pay capital gains to, like let's say if you got an S&P 500 tracker, you don't even have to pay any gains on that to switch that over as long as it's in the IRA, Roth or traditional. So I think there's a lot of value to that. I'm open-minded to the ETFs, even if I do think owning the token is still pound for pound the better play. But I definitely wouldn't say, it has to be one or the other. I think you can definitely do both. Appreciate you, Steph. I'm glad that video was helpful for you. And if you ever got questions, happy to answer them. I know sometimes the wallets can be kind of tricky at first. I do think I'm going to start wrapping this up. I'll probably address the rest of the chat, and then once we get through the final questions, I'll probably end it there. So I see Shelby got in on XRP at 35 cents. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, if you got in at that level, you are definitely in the black, probably for the rest of our lifetime. Which just goes to show the power of buying and holding and just being patient and letting things play out. If you guys haven't already liked the stream, looks like we got almost up to 50, which is good. If you're just finding this channel for the first time, feel free to subscribe to it. We'll have some pre-recorded videos coming your way pretty soon here. We're going to be working on an XRP specific video after lunchtime, so hoping to get that out by today. Otherwise, it'll be out tomorrow. And now with the American holiday kind of wrapping up, it'll be easy for me to kind of knock out some stuff throughout the week. In addition to that, I'll be going to the HBAR Dev Conference in Denver on February 17th. So that'll be my first time doing coverage at an event live. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be a learning experience for me, but the plan is to start really getting involved in the community, not just as a streamer, but actually going to events so that I can relay what I find out when I'm at them. So with that, I appreciate everyone who hopped in today. We'll be back here bright and early tomorrow at 11 a.m. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.